Okay, cool. Let's try this again. So, I worked a lot on the project, and it's making me more optimistic about engineering and AI. I saw this great video about how AI is trained on generating code, working code, and going through this process of setting up all of this stuff. It just says a lot about there's so much more to engineering than generating code. It's actually just a tiny piece of it. Uh, and even though it's been incredibly frustrating, I truly believe that this whole local thing we've been doing has just been like a necessary hack to onboard people. Um, like the threshold is so low for interacting with the agents and just using the environment to validate its work and everything. But we really want these AIs to be more autonomous, and that means we don't want them to run locally. And we even hack that. Like, we keep the computer on to do remote control and all of this stuff. We don't need any of this. You can set up a completely remote environment, but it's really hard to do that. Even though it's seemingly simple. But I've kind of seen this for a long time, because working at Code Sandbox, this is what we try to do, only that we try to move developers into the cloud. And there's so many benefits of working in the cloud. But one thing that's really shitty is the actual local experience of typing in the editor and just doing that kind of work. That's just shittier in the cloud because you have latency. And maybe you would work in the browser, or like everything becomes harder working in the cloud. But we really managed to like get to a low friction onboarding and all of this stuff. But the point of AI is that you're not going to be working in the cloud. It's the AI that's going to be working in the cloud. But the friction of getting the AI into the cloud, working on your project, that hasn't been solved. And especially validating its work has not been solved either. So I have really high hopes for that to become the thing of 2026, is AI, like, we default to running in the cloud. And we see that Anthropic and OpenAI is working really hard on this. But anyways, so what I changed is I now have my building AI confidence environment, and the only thing it really does is install the dependencies. It installs Chromium, so I can take screenshots, and it also sets up a Claude start session hook, which uses Doppler, because Anthropic doesn't have secrets management. But the cool thing about Doppler is that it can be used with Claude or Anthropic. And it can be used with Vercel. So you can store your secrets here, and then you just sync them into these environments, and it's always the same, and it's secure, and all of that stuff. So that's like, and there's so many things. So secrets management, how do you do that? How do you preview the work of the agent? Like, do you want the agent to run the dev server? Or as I'm doing, I'm using Vercel. So no, we're just pushing a PR, and then Vercel takes care of creating the preview, right? So there's and that's just two tiny things that you have to architect and architect to allow the AI to become autonomous. And then the question is, how does it verify its work? And that goes into the architecture of the project itself. Like, how do you set up tests? How do you split up separation of concern? All of this stuff to enable it to be confident about what it's doing. And that's basically what this project is going to be. I pivoted to this, like, it's going to start as like my personal blog. But it's going to be just a list of posts about how to get going with this approach and all the learnings and everything. And then I've completely over-engineered it. So if it becomes a thing, it's very easy for me to scale it into like multiple users posting, could have discussions and all kinds of stuff. But it's all within the context of running AI in the cloud and figuring out how to do that well. So I'm kind of excited about that. But we have a problem, because I did a pivot of the project and 25. Yeah, here it is. I did a pivot of the project, so I should be able to sign in, but it doesn't work. So browser navigates to auth GitHub, server gets it. Okay. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but when I go to /auth/GitHub, it says 404. So something is going wrong with the routing here. But yeah, and another thing is, I don't want to use a bunch of magical frameworks. Like, magical frameworks is really, really bad for AI because it's not programming. It's not the programming language. It's so abstracted and so based on conventions that it's impossible to understand how it works. So, for example, Vercel does a lot of crazy stuff by default. You have this thing called Nitro, which does a lot of crazy stuff. And then you have like these different layers to Vite, which does a lot of magical crazy stuff. And it's really hard for AI to reason about this, because they really need the context of how that library actually works. And some libraries like React, which is also kind of crazy magical, if you think about it from abstraction over just plain programming language. But it has so much training data on it that it's fine. But what I think, which is also like a factor in this, is that since it's so cheap to generate code, you really want to go like bare bones with things and create your own abstractions that you control and organize and create instructions over, so that the AI understands and owns how things work and doesn't need to like go and grab a shit ton of skills for a specific library, or go and check the documentation every time it needs to do something. But here, I think it just doesn't understand how routing works on Vercel. I don't understand how routing works on Vercel. Who does? Like, there's so much magic. Yeah, I have no idea. Vercel. So it rewrites. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is correct, because I have an API, right? For getting posts and stuff. I also have server-side rendering here. But so I have like /. Yeah, it succeeded. So the point is that we have two different sets of routes, right? We have routes that's gonna load up the actual page in the browser, and that would be these routes. And then we have the GitHub routes, right? Which is gonna act as these redirects, but they also need to be handled as like normal browser navigation routes. But then we have these other sets of routes, which is the API to go and grab posts, for example, or create posts or update posts. And they are like REST-ish types of routes. So can you please just like review what we've done here and explain to me how does the browser actually reach these different routes? Okay. So what's interesting here? So and there's so many like tiny things that's so much better about this. Like me, every time when I work on something, I iterate on a PR, and when that PR is merged, I can go straight in and create a new session because every new session comes off of main, like the updated main, right? There's no local like general state across branches and stuff. So I'm always like working, a new session is a new branch, and it just works out of the box, and it's so nice. Because that's always a point of, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh. At least one property. Yeah, so this is it. Like, we now have the error when building the deployment. Can you please just go on the web and read and understand how Vercel does this routing and serverless functions so that you're confident about how we should actually approach this? Thank you so much. Also, I'm using Sonnet. Let's use Opus on this. I'm not sure why. Why does it have low? I don't understand how this works. I never use these things. Like, I thought it was supposed to automatically choose the model based on the complexity of the task. Maybe I should be more... Maybe I should use it more. And why have, like, what the fuck does this mean? Low, medium, high, extra, max. Like, how the hell should I know when to use each of these? And then it's... For me, it's like, okay, Opus is the orchestrator, Sonnet is the executor, Haiku is the researcher. Like, that's how I can think about it. But all this stuff, I don't understand why we have all that stuff. But yeah, the cool thing is that when you also use the remote environment, it just works from your phone. Like, it's really cool. Well, I can't pick up my phone, but it's incredibly nice. When you have it set up on your computer, just open your phone and you can just start asking it to do things. And you can fire off multiple things in parallel. Like, even the design of this thing, it was really nice. I just create a PR, just asked it to go and create suggestions on how it could look like. I got the screenshots directly on my phone. And I could go and check it out. That was a really cool experience. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe I should build up an intuition of changing the model when it gets stuck, instead of changing my prompt. It's really hard to build intuition on AI. Yeah, whatever. Probably fine. Yeah, and I don't understand. Why don't I have... Oh, I guess this is because I'm on Claude. Why is it not allowing it to do this? By the way, one thing I've discovered is that my body is not very compatible to have kids that wake up early, which is like the majority of kids. Like, when I get to sleep, it doesn't matter when I go to bed. If I can sleep until 8, then I'm a different person than if I have to wake up before 8. It's very fascinating. Like my partner is completely opposite. She gets like cranky in the evening. And if she doesn't get to bed at a certain time, then she like has a bad next day. It doesn't matter if she wakes up very early, but I'm opposite. I can go to bed whenever, as long as I can sleep into 8, then I'm fine. But I can go to bed at like early in the evening, wake up, like have enough hours of sleep, but if I wake up before 8, I get cranky. Okay, the key only apply when no file exists at the path. Yeah, it's this fucking magic. Auto-detected. I want to... Oh, you do? Yeah, what kind of subscription you using? Because I noticed that I burn through my subscription very, very fast if I use Opus. This is also a big mystery to me. All of these people like using AI like crazy. Like, how do they do that? Like, what kind of... You have to pay a lot of money. And people who has like multiple subscriptions, like they're paying like hundreds of euros/dollars a month. I don't want to spend that money. I'm not that much more productive. Yeah, max is that 100. What is it now? $100 a month? I think I'm using max as well. Yeah, because Pro is like $20 and... Yeah, but the point is, like, from an accessibility perspective, it's just this this drop down here. It's exceptionally confusing. Like, imagine for someone who doesn't know any of these models, like the effort level is just insane. Like, it means absolutely nothing. And one thing is, if it had a deterministic outcome, each of these things, it would be very confusing. But it's a non-deterministic outcome, so it gets just even... Like, you have absolutely no idea. And I'm not, like, saying that there's probably a very good reason they are there. It just says something about where we are in the process of AI. How should we make Vercel reliably deploy the express function? I want it to be clean. The build to emit Vercel output. No setting, more, but the clean long-term fix. Yes. Should the home page be served? Server render to. Okay, it's yeah, I think so. I think that makes a lot of sense to use the VS Code extension if you're using AI in your local environment. But I know, I feel exceptionally confident that these applications that we're seeing, like what we're looking at here, and Codex and these ones, they are going to take over. But they're not going to take over as a local thing. It's going to be how you orchestrate agents remotely. It's just that we haven't figured out how to properly make agents work remotely on projects. The experience isn't... like getting it up and running is too much of a friction compared to... Especially, and we're fighting years and years of intuition on how to... Like, we just muscle memory... Go to GitHub, copy the clone URL, we clone it locally, we do like npm install or whatever, and we're up and running. Like, that's how we do programming. It's not natural for us to, like, even here, you can't go in and point to a remote repository. You still have to clone it locally, then go in and choose that folder, then choose that you want to do it remotely. Like there's so much friction still to do things remotely. But I'm super confident that's what we're gonna be doing within the end of the year. Or next year. Or the year after. What do you mean by source for your repo consistency? VS Code or? I wonder why this is so difficult, like on Vercel, to just have a node server. Yeah, I find that fascinating. It was much easier before. You would just have node, run the thing, you would add like a Vite middleware, it renders your app. Maybe you even didn't have a Vite middleware. You would just run Vite and then build your app and then serve it from your node server. And then your server has the API and it just works. But on Vercel, it's like I've been doing this for like 2 days now, and I'm still not able to like wield the complexity of it. I find that fascinating. It's almost like, especially the last few years with like server components and all these abstractions to make things more accessible, it's working against us with AI because that's a way for us to write less code, right? To just get things out of the box. And we're adding all this magic that you can only understand if you're in the community and like closely following everything and kind of committing to a framework. So we get these camps of like React and Angular and all of this. But now that doesn't matter that much. We just want something more fundamental that doesn't require the AI to have a shit ton of context and documentation to understand how it works. Yeah, but I think this is also something that yeah, it's interesting. There's so many things I'm curious about. Like, how well does AI actually work with Svelte, for example? How well does it actually work with Next.js? Like, Next.js is such a beast of a framework. It's insane. And I just want to, like, that's also something I want to write about. Like, how do you get like just a pure environment to run your server, and you can choose from there, like, do I want server-side rendering, or what do I want to do? Like, how do I want to do caching and all of this? Like, you make those decisions because you're an engineer. You know about making these kinds of decisions. It's just that it's really hard to implement it. Like, it requires a lot of code and considerations and stuff like that, which AI is good at, as long as you know what you want. But then AI needs to battle all these frameworks and all these abstractions to be able to do very simple things. Wow, it spent a lot of time on this. Interesting. But it allows me to rant a bit So that's good. So yeah, the things I want to write about specifically is how do you even, like, what is Claude? What is it? What are sandboxes? What are the benefits of using them? And then I want to write about the friction of using them. And then I want to write a guide on how to use them. Like fundamentally just get it up and running. And then I want to write about secrets management, because that's a threshold. Then I want to write about how to integrate with like a deployment service, or and how to run like previews of your app on PRs. That's an important factor. How to architect your code so the AI can write tests that is locally, like, can be locally validated. It doesn't need to reach into like a browser or anything, because you don't have a browser in a sandbox. And that's a good thing. That's a good constraint. So I want to write about what's your responsibility to review versus what are your tools to review versus what are the tools for the AI to do. Or what is your tools to validate, and what are the tools for the AI to do validation? And then is all the instructions, how to write instructions. Okay, let's see here. What was actually wrong? Shadow / Vercel static files before rewrite. So, was there a static shell in SSR? Never ran. Oh. The function was never deployed. Okay, so now assembles Vercel output the spec adapters functions, a self-contained express bundle, the hashed client. Hvor Malla? Vil hun ikke?
Først skal på do, og så må du komme da og si.
Jeg er ikke ferdig. Yeah, like you can use a headless browser, but you can't really test the user experience with AI in the sense that it doesn't understand what user experience is. So you can validate, like, okay, the AI clicks, like, and that's also a thing. It spends a shit ton of tokens doing it. But so okay, so it's gonna open the actual running app. You need to deal with authentication. You need to pre-fill your database with something. It needs to go and click something. What about the size of the thing? Is it mobile? Is it responsive? All of these things. It's like, it's super, super, super hard for the AI to validate those things. So my opinion is that the browser is a validation tool for a human, because that is the human experience. And what you want to do for the AI is to allow it to very, very easily produce the different states of your application and take screenshots in different sizes. So you can produce, and you can mock data and everything in a test. Whereas I'm using stories, where I can mock all the services, I can mock the state of the actual application, and it renders that story in headless mode, takes a screenshot in whatever size and whatever user agent, whatever I want to do. And then I get like a screenshot of how it actually looks like. And I think that's a much better approach than trying to make the agent act as an actual user, evaluating actual user experience, because there's just certain things it can't validate, like transitions and just the feel of it. But states and validating that the UI reflects those states, That's something an AI can do, but it doesn't need to do browsing to do that. It can run test and validate with a screenshot or a story, which is much more efficient. I'm coming off as like super confident about this. I'm not. I'm just exploring. But I've been burned on a few things. Let's see what it's doing. Open a preview and click sign in your browser. Okay, did it push this stuff? I guess it did. Okay. Oh, look at that. It actually worked. That's impressive. Jeg kommer ikke helt enda, Oskar. Oh, did I forget to remove the... Cool. So now it's actually working. And so I wanted to... Great. Can you review our agent's instructions so that we reflect this new way of doing things? And please update the PR description to reflect what this PR is actually about. But this is nice. It looks like I can actually go in and do something. Can I actually write a new post there even? Look at that. My awesome post. Hello. Oh, well, I guess. So I want to talk about this amazing thing. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, and it should be storing it like in the background. It's kind of cool. I didn't come up with this. I just said I wanted like a terminal-ish design, but I didn't want the user to actually use the keyboard. So it's using links like cd ... It's really interesting. Look at that. It's even here. Wow, this is actually pretty impressive. Oh, how do I edit it? Oh, I can't actually edit it. We have to fix that. I didn't think about that. And like cat, I find this to be very amusing. Great stuff. And the cool thing is, like, because I'm doing a low-level implementation of all of this, I can choose to like cache the posts here, and I can choose what type of caching I want. I can do like oh fuck, I forgot the name of it. What's it called when you have this hash? E-tag. I can do like E-tag caching on the front page, so so that it loads much faster. As soon as there's a new post, it's gonna invalidate the cache. And that's like actually like looking at well, I'm actually not sure, because I still need to, so the server is running on serverless. So that means that for everyone like visiting the front page, they're gonna hit like a stateless new instance of the function that serves it. I'm actually not sure how Vercel handles this. So to understand what the E-tag is, it needs to go to the database and find the posts. Yeah. And then you might as well just render it. Yeah, I wonder how you can like keep that in memory on Vercel. Anyways, the point is that you can control all of these things, which is nice. While on the edit page, you don't want to have any kind of caching. Maybe you don't even want server-side rendering of anything. Anyways. Okay, cool. I think we're just gonna... Yeah, let's just drop the Copilot input here. So the nice thing now, I can just merge this. I'm done. I do new, and I'm off to the races. I love that. Just that experience. Merge, new session, go at it. No moving to a new branch, pull it down, anything like that. It's always fresh and always up to date, which is awesome. Just having to like go in here and like change the branch and stuff like that, very annoying. Okay, but what do we want to do now? We want to be able to edit a post. So I notice when we sign in and create a new post, if I want to, that works super well. But if I go back and open a post, well, there's two things. It seems to me like it doesn't start in draft, or does it? I was confused by the bottom right draft indication. Was that a button to move it into a draft? Because it should always start as a draft. So that's number one. And number two, if I move back to the list, first of all, I want to see a strong indication if the post is a draft or not. And then if I go into the post, I want to be able to edit it, regardless of it being published or not. Yeah, that also makes me think about if I want to edit a published post, I kind of want to edit it in the background and then like republish it. So that if I, like when I autosave, it doesn't like update the published post. That would be horrible, but that's something we can figure out. Yeah, so now you kind of actually see the experience. So you saw that, okay, I had a PR, I could just merge it, and I could go straight in and just start a new session. And as you can see, like there's still... Oh, okay. Yeah, like they're still working on the experience here. It's not an amazing like user experience, but technically it is working. So it sets up the container, clones the repository, and starts Claude. And the point is that it takes longer than if you start a new session locally, but I'm not supposed to be here and follow the agent. I should be able to give this prompt, and I should be able to go and do something else, and then go back to it when it's done. And that's a whole other level of doing this is, okay, you want it to just move on to the end of things, which I guess would be more like a goal-driven kind of thing. I haven't explored that at all yet, because I don't trust it to do things the right way. By the way, we have a problem. I actually have a script running that adds the session data of the agent to the PR, and that doesn't happen anymore, and I wonder why. It could actually be, let's go and check it, agent review. It might be that my script still doesn't work. Let's try it here. Okay, that actually worked. Okay, so that should work. So this is another part I also want to read about, is when you do a PR, when you only have the generated code, you only have like a fraction of, like you only validate the output code, like the generated code. That's the only thing you evaluate. But there's a lot of information that led to that specific code generation. And what I mean is the actual agent session. All the text going back and forth, all the tool calling. There's a lot of embedded information about how the agent performed. And I think that should be part of the PR, so that you don't only review the code, you actually review the agent session. And I built this tool that based on the current branch, it goes and finds the sessions. It distills the sessions into like this lightweight markdown with the core like signals of what it was doing. It doesn't have everything in there because that could be like megabytes of data. But then what I'm trying to do is for Copilot to do 2 reviews, one for the generated code, but another one for how well the agent actually performed. If it was confused by something, if it had a lot of failing tool calls, stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to check that because that should be part of the PR workflow is to... Oh, didn't it? Oh, wait. Oh, didn't it fix this? Oh, okay, we should fix this. Anyways, here we have capture agent sessions and scripts, capture agent sessions. Oh, it's using... Oh, I see. It shouldn't use... Okay, we're gonna fix that. Yeah, and this is also a thing with these models is how well do they... Oh, did you move to Sonnet again? How well do they follow instructions? Like Opus is better at following... So one thing is like how intelligent are they? But another thing is how well do they follow instructions? So Sonnet can perform really well if it just follows the freaking instructions. But if it doesn't, it can seem like the model is dumb, but it's just because it's not trained well enough on following instructions. But I guess you could argue that's part of why you have something like Opus. It's like a dimensions of training. One thing is following instructions and then doing tool calls and all of this. Ja, jeg kommer ikke helt enda. Jeg kommer snart. Now commit and push. I wonder why it does only commit and push. That's another thing I wanna... Is this because of... testing rules? Yeah, always conclude by running the PR workflow. The branch, commit, and submit the changes as pull request. Okay, I think we should actually reference the workflow here. And the reason I'm not using skills is because I'm trying to find a generic way of instructing agents and not doing, like not relying on magic. Like you don't know when skills are actually loaded, and skills are specific to every harness, like where they are stored. While people working on a project together might want to use different coding agents. So I have one problem here is that I'm actually using a start session hook. So I'm not sure to what degree you can actually make a repository work across agents without a lot of fiddling. Anyways, okay, So I want you to clean up a couple of things. I see that in our PR workflow instructions, we are validating if we're on the correct branch, but we shouldn't be doing that anymore. And the reason is that we're running in the cloud environment at Anthropic, and this always has a generated branch for us. So we don't need to validate anything. Just assume on the PR workflow that we are on the correct branch, and we just need to validate that we don't have any unstaged changes, and that we can go ahead and create the PR. Another thing here related to this is that the capture sessions script relies on the review agent script, the review agent CLI to be inside the scripts folder. Now it's global, so it shouldn't be running it from that folder. It's a global CLI, so we need to fix that. And then finally, I see in the implementations workflow that as a last step, we're saying that it should move to the PR workflow. But I think we need to be more explicit here. We need to actually reference the workflow by path, so that it understands that it needs to load up that workflow file to move on. Does that make sense? Oh my god, oh my god. Jeg er ikke ferdig ennå, Oskar. Det var egentlig meningen at du og Emma skulle game, vet du. Skjedde det noe, eller? Eller... ja. Nei, jeg skjønner. Okay, fantastic. Let's try running the PR workflow and see if we're able to capture the sessions without errors and all this stuff. Oh, interesting. Oh, mid-session. Oh, that's a problem. I didn't know that. Oh, so when we resume a session, it doesn't run that hook. Yeah, see ya. Thanks for joining, by the way. And great questions, and it was nice to discuss. Have a good weekend. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what's the problem here now. It's because we resume this session, I think, somewhere. I think? Well, I'm actually not sure we did that. I'm very curious. Because... yeah, what actually happened here? Why... wait. Wait a minute. I'm just gonna put it off screen shortly. I need to look at something. Let's see. There we are. Okay, this is interesting because I have this script that I run when the Claude environment starts, and it installs the agent review. Do you know how this could have failed? And as you say, it's not there. Could you just try to install it and see if you find any errors? Snart, Oskar. Oh. But I tried installing this locally and that worked just fine. Wait, is it different? Did I change it? Huh. But this is weird because I ran this curl command locally on my computer and it installed it fine. And this is what I mean. Like, it works fine locally, but it doesn't work in this cloud environment. And this is the shit you have to go through to make things work. And it just sucks. And I also been exploring. I did this project where I tried to create like a first class experience of setting up your repository in a sandbox for agent work. Oh no. Again, you see, this is the shit you have to deal with. Ah! Huh. Pin the version. So because it's doing like 2 requests in one, it's rate limited. It seems like. Like, okay, but if you're gonna have these kinds of issues, you're not gonna be using cloud environments. And I think that's the thing we haven't figured out. We can't have these kinds of issues. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna... Yeah. It's almost like if you want to write an article about like the promise of these things, and then what's the message is like, okay, it's going to be a shitty experience getting it up and running, but when it does, it's going to be amazing. Like, that's not how you get people to use stuff. It's almost like, if I want to solve this, it's almost like, no, I need to create my own sandboxing service that doesn't have these things. But then you can't do like Claude in there, codecs, or yeah. Oh, I think we just have to battle through this stuff. Yeah, I guess we can do this. Let's see. Building. Nei, nå må du la meg gjøre meg ferdig, Oskar, ellers så blir jeg bare irritert. But this is... Oh, come on. I don't like this. It has to be possible to... Cancel. So you're saying that the install script used to download this is hitting GitHub very quickly, and because of that, we get rate limited and it fails. So if the install script itself would have like a retry mechanism, like a sleep kind of thing, then it would work, right? Yeah, but since I own that library, I can fix that. Oh, and the GitHub. Oh, per in the cloud, many containers. Oh. Window to roll over, which is obviously not practical. But okay, so it's not a frequency of requests. But I'm using GitHub all the time here, like to create PRs and everything. I haven't had any issues with this, and so I find this to be very curious. Yeah. Can you help me understand why this specifically has the issue and not like using the MCP server and all of this stuff? It didn't actually translate that very well. It's authentication, not frequency. The GitHub server is configured with a token. Oh, we know of. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. Pass the token to MCP server. Ja, jeg skal avslutte nå. Jeg skal bare sjekke en ting. Okay, is GitHub token available in this environment? Of course, it's because I don't have a token. So but I don't think it's typical to actually put CLIs on GitHub like I do. Like they're typically hosted somewhere. Okay, but I don't think we should rely on this. I think this is a problem with the CLI. Could I just ask you, what is the typical way to host these install files? I guess using GitHub isn't the best way to do it. But I don't want to like move to a different service or anything. Maybe it's better that does it change if I create like a release asset or something for that file? Or is that also rate limited? What would you recommend I do? Because I built the agent review CLI, so I can change how it's installed. That's it. So always installs in there. Ah, fantastic. I'm gonna make that change then. And yeah, I don't have to say thanks. Let's see. How can I do this? I have this on my other computer. Oskar, du må la meg gjøre meg ferdig. Eller så Nei, sånn er det. Let's just do this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna jump out. But we're gonna continue this journey tomorrow, hopefully. I'm gonna fix this thing. And we can actually start talking about the reason I'm doing all of this. So I'm like going through all the friction to learn, and then we're gonna actually write about the learnings and hopefully create something valuable that's a lot more easily digested than watching all these random raw streams. Yeah, I'm really happy. I've learned a shit ton going through this. So yeah, cool. Bye for now.